Welcome to the Motor Mouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do full-length car reviews each and every week. Halfway through, we stop for a segment called Questions, Coffee, Cars. We've spun it off. We're at number 62. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time, I put a post out. It's only up for a short time. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
Why haven't more manufacturers jumped on board with the small third row like Kia offers in the Sorento? I'd love to see a small bonus row in the RAV4 redesign. Any chance of Toyota ever doing that?
Well, Nissan did it with the Rogue, and they got rid of it. And I think the reason that car companies do this is in the compact space, there's only the Mitsubishi Outlander, and also available for about $1,500 is the Volkswagen Tiguan. But the other ones, everything else, they want you to move up to a bigger vehicle. I think it's the latter. This isn't good enough for you? Oh, don't worry. For only $100 more a month, you can have the bigger one with the 3 rows.
Yeah, it's all about the grade walk. I mean, you look at Toyota right now with the Grand Highlander, and you've got the Highlander, and some of you are asking, are they even going to keep the Highlander around? The Highlander doesn't actually have a big third row. So if you're looking for a smaller vehicle, I think that the Highlander would be an okay option to use the third row in a pinch. I don't believe they will ever put a third row in the RAV4.
I'm just looking, there's a car parked right there that used to sell incredibly well, and it did have a small third row. It was the Dodge Journey. And that was one that sold very well for Stellantis FCA Chrysler.
Why'd they get rid of it?
Because it was a piece of junk.
I guess it didn't sell as well.
No, it sold very well.
No. Maybe at that time when the Journey was out, there weren't a lot of 3-row offerings, like even a small third row. So I guess I can see why it may have been a hit. But you certainly don't see many of those on the road today,
do you? It was cheap.
What do you think Infiniti could do to become competitive again? Outside of the QX60, the brand is dead.
Oh, but wait. You just have to wait. Andrea, get some intel on this.
I think that you're not wrong on that. The QX60 was a big one for the brand when they released it. I mean, even Zach and I said, man, this one has got to be a hit for Infiniti. Unfortunately, their vehicles, they have left them for too long. I don't like that they have included a CVT in some of their models.
And old head units.
Yeah, like they just haven't updated it. Well, they are coming out with a new QX80. They are about to launch this. It looks really good. They are hoping, when I say they, Infiniti says to their dealerships, this is through Automotive News has actually quoted them on this. They said that they believe with this new QX80 that they will get 75% new buyers to the brand.
Well, that's not hard. If you have no buyers, it's easy to get new buyers.
They're hoping to get, they're hoping to get people from the Lincoln brand or Cadillac. They are also kind of going upscale where they are looking at buyers that have a yearly income of over $250,000.
But what they desperately need is an updated QX50. That's the meat of the market. I don't think there's any plans for that yet.
Well, I think they have like a redesign, but I don't know if it's going to be all new. And now they're also focusing on electric vehicles. So they're about to show a new EV sedan. They're also going to have an EV SUV and a crossover coupe style SUV as well. So they have a lot coming up. I really hope that the brand reinvents itself.
So do the dealers.
Yeah.
Because the dealers have been left with old inventory. So
what Infiniti is saying is they really want to separate itself from Nissan. So maybe that means that they're not going to share some of the same things. Like you can see with the QX60 that it has a lot of the Pathfinder in it, right? I mean, that's pretty obvious.
But you got to remember, they also have the relationship with Nissan Renault.
Yeah.
So there might be some vehicles that Renault has developed that won't look anything like a Nissan that they can turn into an Infiniti that gives them that upscale feel.
Anyway, it's exciting. They have things in the pipeline coming up, so I look forward to seeing it. Love the show and love your married couple banter. We definitely banter. What are the advantages of a plug-in hybrid versus a non-plug-in hybrid?
Well, a lot of people are confused about the terminology. We throw it around all the time thinking everybody knows, but they don't. A hybrid is just just a regular car that has electric assist. You do not plug it in. You go to the gas station and you fill it up less often, and you can get some very, very good mileage, and you don't have to pay a lot to get a hybrid over a regular gas car. So that's kind of like a regular car. The plug-in part is exactly in the title. It's a plug-in. You need to have access to a plug. You need to plug it in every night, and you get X number of electric miles or kilometers, typically anywhere from 40 to about 70 kilometers of electric range, and then it switches to what I just talked about, the old hybrids. So that's the terminology.
So hybrids have a smaller battery than plug-in hybrids. And the way that a battery in a hybrid is charged is through regen braking or through the gas engine. A plug-in hybrid has a much bigger battery, and you get the most benefits from a plug-in hybrid if you plug it in and drive it in pure electric mode. Now, the minute your battery is depleted, the fuel economy is not as good as what you would get in a hybrid. So if you do decide that you want a plug-in hybrid, make sure you plug it in every day. You can do it with a level 1 charger. You don't need to invest in a level 2 charger at all. So I think
level 2,
that
let's back up the terminology on that. Level 1 is a regular wall plug, like when you plug your hair dryer in.
Yeah.
Level 2 is actually a clothes dryer. You need that extra voltage to get it going.
So I think either are great options, but if you are not going to plug in your PHEV, we don't recommend it. Then get the hybrid. Hybrids are easy because you just start them up and you go, and when you need fuel, you put fuel in.
Okay, so
you get great fuel economy.
Yeah, so one of the two detriments for plug-in hybrids over the regular hybrids, they're much more expensive to buy. So the price tag is way higher. So you have to run the numbers on how much do you actually drive in a year, how much do you pay in fuel, or the difference between the hybrid and the plug-in hybrid, and it might not be worth it for you to spend that extra money to get the plug-in. You can just drive a regular hybrid and actually save some money. Overall costs. And then the other part of it is that they're heavier, and when as Andrea mentioned, when the battery is depleted, the fuel economy isn't as good.
The good news about a plug-in hybrid, like in Canada, it qualifies for the federal EV rebate of $5,000 if it gets 50 kilometers plus of range. If it gets lower than that, you only qualify for half of that. So that can bring the price down, and something like the Prius plug-in hybrid, the Prime, or the Prius, when you start looking at pricing and you add in that rebate, you actually get a better deal on the Prime than you do on the regular Prius. So you've got to kind of run your numbers on that.
Well, that's one of the problems about anything new technology and electrified. It's not about this any longer.
No.
It's like, oh, it's the shiny red car. It's a convertible. It sounds good. I want it. Great stereo. It's all this. It's spreadsheet stuff. And it's kind of making a lot of cars soulless because of it.
I did say to Zach earlier, before we started this, I'm not talking about the zero emissions mandate for Canada.
Good luck.
For 2035 in this video, but now I have to bring it up. What bothers me is that hybrids, not plug-in hybrids, hybrids are not included in that mandate, and I really believe that they need to be there because I think that they work for a lot of people. And plug-in hybrids are going to need 70 kilometers of range and above to qualify.
Okay, what is the ultimate, we're getting into the EV mandate, and here we go.
I know.
What is the goal? The goal is to reduce greenhouse gases. The goal isn't to make regulations more complicated for everybody, manufacturers and consumers to deal with. The goal is just, let's get the CO2 out of the atmosphere as much as we possibly can. So if hybrids, we talked about it in our last video, are really taking off in terms of popularity, well, you're going to be reducing greenhouse gases a lot. Yeah. So why they're not included in the mandate makes no sense. So why don't they just come up with a calculation that says, okay, for every 4 hybrids, it qualifies as 1 pure EV or 1 plug-in hybrid. Say plug-in hybrid. You're not going to go pure EV, but say for every 4 hybrids you sell, that basically adds up to 1 PHEV. Put that in the calculation. So if the goal is to bring down CO2, why don't we promote the vehicles that bring down CO2? Yeah. And right now, most people are comfortable and able to afford just regular hybrids.
And off the top of my head, I think that the RAV4 hybrid has a 1.87 kilowatt hour battery.
I don't think it's even that big. I think it's 1.4. But anyway, it's very small.
Okay, so you have that battery size. How many of those hybrids can you make If you compare it to a 77.5 kilowatt hour battery, a whole lot more.
Well,
So
all we need is a
why
calculator,
wouldn't you?
Andrea. We could probably run those numbers.
Somebody will do it for us.
Type below.
Watch your videos. Thanks for the insight. I'm looking to buy a new 24 Onyx Crosstrek versus a 23 Nissan Qashqai SL. Live near Toronto. Safety is a huge concern. Which would you recommend and why?
So the Qashqai, by the way, is the Nissan Rogue Sport that's no longer sold in the US, but still sold in Canada. And it's actually a nice size vehicle. One thing about Qashqai, nice interior. They haven't really done much to it, and we're hoping to get an updated model that has been released in Europe. Nice interior for its class, the subcompact class. It's really quite roomy. But I just think that the Crosstrek, in my opinion, is so hard to beat. The one thing, though, is Crosstrek prices have gone... They've gone way up. Nissan seems to be maybe a little more disciplined with their pricing. So resale value, then you add in, and the Crosstrek is the clear winner because those things hold their value.
My feeling is the Qashqai isn't going to be around for long in Canada now that the Rogue Sport is gone in the US, but we'll see what happens. If you compare both trims, they're really about the same price, but you get more with the Crosstrek Onyx because you get the larger engine in that 2.5 liter, so you've got more horsepower and more torque than the Qashqai, and you get more features. In the Onyx, you have the larger 11.6-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's wired in the Qashqai. So I think that there's just more value with the Crosstrek. You've got a terrific all-wheel drive system. We know Subaru's safety is great. Not to say that Nissan's isn't. They have a great one as well. Yeah,
they've got their eyesight system. And I believe they have the new third camera. I'm trying to remember which models get it, but anyway, it's advanced technology. I just think Crosstrek really is tough to beat in that class.
Hello from Toronto. Love your channel. Thank you. I currently have a 2020 CRV and looking to change to something peppy and yet efficient. My lookouts are the Tiguan, the Atlas Cross Sport, Q3 or Q5. Looking for your recommendation. It's kind of a big mix.
It's a bit of a big mix. The thing about the Q5 is a premium gas drinker, and that's going to cost you a lot more money, about 20 cents more per liter. We'll use a metric here because you're in Canada. The Q3, no, that uses regular gas. Same engine as the Tiguan, but more power in the Q3. So I don't know.
Atlas Cross Sport's so big.
And the Atlas Cross Sport uses the same engine as well, but it's got more power. So you've got three engines. You've got the Tiguan engine, you've got the Q3 engine, and you've got the Atlas Cross Sport engine, all using the same engine. This little one has the least power, this little one has more, and this one went all the way home. And this what Piggy went.
You know what I think I'd probably go for? Look at all of them. Except for the Q5, I would say, has got plenty of plastic, hard plastic inside the interior.
Okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to do 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Wait a sec. Give me a moment. Give me a moment. I really have to put myself in what would I drive? What would I drive? Okay.
I know what I'm going to say.
Go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. Tiguan. Tiguan.
Q3. That's what I'm going for. So there you go. You can take the Tiguan or the Q3. I know what I'd be in.
One more thing before we move on.
Yeah.
Volkswagen in Canada offers a 4-year warranty. Audi offers a 4-year warranty. So you're not getting more warranty because it's a premium brand.
Yeah.
So, and it uses regular gas.
Reliability-wise? Love your show. Your interactions with each other make for fun reviews. Thank you. Anyway, I'm looking for a daily that's good on gas, fun to drive, and reliable. Oh, gosh. Fun to drive, reliable, and good on gas. Typically, fun to drive is not good on gas. But anyway, my GTI was getting expensive running premium. So
Okay, we'll come back to that.
We're going to go back to that. I'm looking used and cheap, like me. This will be my 39th car, so hopefully I can try to keep it a little longer. Thanks for the advice.
So I'm not sure why you're putting premium gas in the GTI.
That's what I thought.
I think there were some marks of GTI that did require premium gas. I don't know the full history of what was. I'm doing this from memory, but if your car does not require premium gas, you do not need to put it in there. Some people like putting the spendy gas in because it doesn't have ethanol, and they don't want to. They want to try and mitigate things like carbon buildup, but I get that. So you want to have a fun to drive car. I would go
It's fuel efficient.
fuel efficient. I would go, if you're a GTI driver, I'm hoping you drive stick. I would go for a used Honda Civic Sport hatchback.
Ooh, I like that.
Good
I like
choice.
that
Did
a
I, Julia?
lot. I like that a lot. Or how about a used GLI?
Well, maybe he
Gets
doesn't
good
want.
fuel
Maybe he doesn't
economy.
want a Volkswagen anymore. But you'll get a used GTI. But you know what? Honda Civic
So good.
SI would
Yeah.
be another good choice
Yeah,
if
you
you
could
can
get
get
a
a used
used
one.
one.
Not very many of those around.
No.
Honda Civic hatchback.
What about like an A4?
Well,
But you've got premium fuel again. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think of something that doesn't. Oh, what about a WRX? Manual transmission.
I'm trying to remember if it needs premium gas. The turbo.
Ooh, I think.
I think it does.
I think it's recommended. Remember, we
Recommended.
asked Subaru about this at the launch of the WRX. They said we recommend premium, but you can use regular.
WRX is off the list. Listen, I would go. You know, to your point,
Gosh,
if you
it's
like the
tough one.
GTI, you could get a newer one, the Mark 7, which was the last gen
Mm-hmm.
that was sold until 2021. So you could look for a 3-year-old car now. Did not require premium gas. So if you like the GTI, and we love the GTI, that might be a good one to go for. GLI is another one.
Here's a quick story. I just have to tell it because we were talking about the Civic. So our son drives the Civic. And
We have a Civic that we bought for the boys to learn to drive on.
Yeah, and he's always like, oh my gosh, it's like no power on the highway and it's kind of boring to drive.
It's perfectly slow for new drivers.
Awesome. We say, gosh, that's the best car you could get. Charlie, every day you get up and you go to work and you get in that car and it starts. And he's like this, So when he was in school, there was someone in the school.
He's studying. He's doing his apprenticeship right now for electrician.
Yeah, so there's a broad range of ages in his class. This person that he was talking to was older than him. Charlie is only 18. And he had a Ram pickup. And he really got Charlie thinking about pickups. And then...
He was all about his Ram.
He was all about his Ram. I would never change anything. The Ram's the best, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, just text Charlie. There's no longer in school because they're doing their level 1 hours right now. And he says to Charlie, I bought the Civic. I bought your car. You know why? Because it was costing him $800 a month for the Ram in fuel.
I bet you the money
he's just like, wow, what a savings.
I bet you the difference in fuel makes the car payment. If he's spending $800 a month and he's now spending probably $250 a month, and he's got $500 left over, that would pay for the car payment.
And so Charlie is now thinking the Civic's pretty great, right?
Yeah.
Pretty great. His friend from school who had the big Ram now bought a Civic. But here's another cute, quick story. There is a Toyota Tacoma. Charlie loves pickup trucks. In this beautiful blue color, following Charlie everywhere. Just happens to be everywhere Charlie looks. This truck is there. Charlie's taking pictures.
I think it lives in our neighborhood.
I think
so when
so.
he goes to the gym and he drives around our neighborhood, he sees it.
And he loves it. And he's taking pictures. Look at it. It's here again. I said, wow, that thing's really following you around.
So what did he do? He went on Auto Trader and had a quick look. And he goes,
went,
whoa, these things
wow.
are expensive.
We said, yeah, they sure are, Charlie.
Maybe you should just keep driving the Civic.
He likes the Civic now.
Maybe mom and pop's, we paid for it. That's
Yeah.
the best car you can drive, the free one.
He's appreciating it more today now after he checked out the prices. When do you guys get the new Chevy Traverse? Love your reviews. Well,
Oh, yeah. I just
that's-
got an email from General Motors Canada, and they say the Cadillac XT4 is coming in.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, really like
Can't
the
wait.
XT4. There was some pickup trucks coming in.
remember
There
that.
was a Denali
Yeah.
that's coming in that we're going to get, but there was no mention of that. And we're really wanting to drive it because it looks good.
So good. And that's one of the biggest in its class.
It is the biggest.
It's
It's the
got
biggest.
a great third row. Plenty of cargo space behind that third row. So looking forward to that. Unfortunately, we don't know. One more question. I usually have a 50-kilometer run daily, mostly on kids' duty. Which SUV 7-seater is nice to have? Would you suggest in the 70 to 80-kilometer range? Will it make sense to go with a PHEV? I think certainly because you only do 50 kilometers a day, you would love a plug-in hybrid, but there really aren't many 7-passenger plug-in hybrids. You can get the Sorento plug-in hybrid, but that's only a 6-passenger, but it does have a third row.
You got to go premium, unfortunately, or you got to go pure EV and get that EV9 from Kia. I suggest that you maybe look at a premium brand. Like you could get a Volvo XC90.
Yeah.
that's something you can consider. That's a plug-in.
Yeah, but there aren't a lot in that category. You've got the TX is going to be coming out with a plug-in hybrid at some point, but nothing yet. I bet you we're about a year away for that TX plug-in
Yeah,
hybrid.
you know what? Listen, if you're doing kid duty and you're running around, the hybrid version of the Grand Highlander is very thrifty on fuel.
Yeah.
And
Highlander hybrid?
Highlander hybrid, but good luck getting one of those. I think that Grand Highlander is going to be unobtainium. How do you say it right? Unobtainium for a while. You're not being able to get it.
Unobtainable?
Well, it's a joke. It's like a material on the periodic table called unobtainium. I don't
Okay.
think I said it right. Unobtainium.
Type below, let us know.
Thank God you're there for us.
I mean, I'd love it because you guys type below and you
let us know.
Yeah.
All warts and all. There you go. Thanks for watching. How do you get a question in?
Follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Pacific time. I put a post out. Once we gather our questions, the post is deleted and we start the show.
We'll see you then.
Thanks for watching.